Hello, Breakfast Club. I know I'm a little bit late with this. I wanted briefly to weigh in on the discussion that JJ and Paul got that funk have started on age gaps in relationships. I mean, there's various reasons they've talked about why people are quote unquote concerned about them. I think a lot of it though, rather than being about protection or anything like that, is it just comes down to a prurient interest in other people's business. While a relationship, I'm sure, is perfectly fulfilling to the people in it, it's not actually really that interesting to watch from the outside. Most people's relationships are, you know, sitting around and talking and doing the cooking and whatever. So anything that's a bit different, a bit unusual, we want to talk about. It's something we're not familiar with. So you see that, um, I think, to an extent, with the obsession about the physical part of same-sex relationships, both male and female. And I wonder if it's just a similar thing here that actually, apart from any concern or whatever, it's really just a sort of prurient interest. People like to gossip. People like to know what's going on. Um, and so people will say, "Oh, isn't that terrible? Isn't he a lot older? Isn't she a lot older?" Um, because it gives them something to talk about. Um, if you look at it reasonably cold light of day, and the most you can say is, well, maybe it doesn't happen as often as some other relationships, where people are closer in age, but whatever. Um, what consenting adults do in their own time, I think most people would say is their own business. The same should obviously apply here, but yet we seem to want to talk about it. Now, maybe in some cases, a sort of there's a parental thing about expectations and worried that your child will get hurt or something like that. Um, and perhaps the sort of if the reputation on on both ends of the age gap that somebody might acquire. But I do think a lot of it is just people like to gossip and talk and involve themselves in other people's business. Um, I mean, the other thing that was mentioned is that the age gap becomes less significant as you get older. I'm not very much older than my wife, a few years, but certainly, I mean, the gap now nobody would even notice. When we started going out, I mean, we were both in our 20s, but somehow it felt more significant then. Um, Partly perhaps because I look older than I am. I think I always have done. Um, yeah, it's a strange one, but as I say, I do think a lot of it comes down to this prurient interest in other people's business. And I think in some way the idea that there might be something more exciting going on there than there actually is. That there's that there has to be some unfortunate power dynamic or some abuse or someone has to be desperately damaged or have some perverse interest, whatever. And quite often it's just people who like each other. There was something that followed on from this about having friends of like significantly different generations. Um, I play people may know a game called Pathfinder, a sort of variant of Dungeons and Dragons. I play a lot of board games, just in the clubs in St Neots where I live, and so I know quite a few people in town from sort of you know I don't know 14, 15, 16 up to whatever you know 50s, 60s. You see each other around town and say hi because you do. Um, but I think it is sometimes I think weird. Um, I've noticed, saying hi to some of the people I know who are a bit younger, who are at college or whatever, when they're a group with their friends, and there's a little bit like, oh, who's that guy? Like, what's a bloke who likes playing board games? Um, so I think it's not just Um, it's not just in terms of, if like romantic relationships that this thing comes in. It's like there's a sort of expectation about the sort of people you'll hang out with that are the same station in life as you are, and it's a very strange idea. I don't know. I think sometimes it's just, I said we we are quite small c conservative, and we don't, anything that steps outside what's expected, we feel the need to comment on, and it's a little bit disturbing, really. Anyway, I've rambled for quite long enough. Oh yeah, new glasses, by the way. It's been a weird few days at Shea Cole recently. I may talk about it next week or something. One, yeah. But anyway, I hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you soon.